We are now joined by a media superstar. By morning, you hear him on The Howard Stern Show, and by evening, he's a talk show host here in New York on SNY. Please welcome to our show, John Hein.
I am thrilled to be with you guys. I watch you all the time when I'm not working on Howard, and I love your chemistry, and I'm excited to talk to you. And believe me, I've already heard you on the Stern Show because you threw out a hit him with the Hein! Sure enough, it got right on there.
Okay, so explain that for the viewer at home who maybe doesn't have the crossover of GMFB and Howard Stern in the morning. What is hit him with the Hein, and why is that something that people are shouting all over the streets of New York?
So when I would leave in the afternoon to go do the sports show, I would walk out, be a little tired, and then somebody would yell, hit him with the Hein sarcastically, like I'm not putting out the energy that needs to be out there, right? And then Howard picked up on it, brought me in, saw I didn't really like it that much, and that was the biggest mistake I ever made because he would constantly say it, you know? And then as a huge sports fan and a football fan, you'd hear different broadcasters say it, you know, like on a hard hit or whatever, and it was like, wow, that's kind of cool. And then Jimmy Kimmel, who's a big Howard fan, said it at the Emmys, he said it at the Oscars. And I'm like, wait a minute, like what did I do, you know? So I was the benefit of having the right last name, which was kind of cool.
We're obviously huge fans of the show. I'm thinking Jeff the drunk, the late Eric the actor. I used to love Blue Iris, Beetlejuice. All of this family in the Howard Stern Show. Do you have a favorite story or a moment that you can share with us that's safe for the air?
Oh, well, we'll talk during the break.
Great.
But, there's a couple, I would say. The Whack Pack is crazy. Sour Shoes, amazingly talented guy, huge sports fan. But, like, favorite moment, working with Howard every day is a really cool thing because he's the best in the business. But I'm a big music guy as well, and some of the music things we've gotten to do have been really cool. We had the birthday bash a few years ago when the Super Bowl was in town, and that was awesome. I was Kimmel's stand-in for run-throughs, and I got to meet all these great musical artists. But the best part is when somebody comes in, like Lady Gaga the first time she came in.
Amazing.
I'm like, oh, she's a pop singer. Who knows how good she's going to be? You know, it's probably pre-recorded. And she sat down at a piano and just played and knocked all of us out. But I've got to meet McCartney and Ringo Starr and all these incredible people, and I'm lucky enough to work, with Howard. It's a lot of fun.
All right, now you're a Michigan graduate.
I am.
But as I can tell by your jersey and your loyalty, a diehard Steelers fan.
This is old school Lambert, the way I think the numbers and names should be.
And the way the players should play, if you ask me. Okay, so, but how do you feel about the fact that so many Steelers runs have been ended by Brady, Mr. Michigan?
That's a great question. Look, the hatred for New England is different than the hatred for Baltimore and Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Why is that?
Because the Patriots you respect. They've done so much. They have just as many rings as we do. Now I'm a Steeler. Just as many rings as we do. But Brady went to Michigan, so it's a lot easier for me to digest. The Ravens, I can't stand. The Bengals, I can't stand. The Browns, I can't stand. Because there are divisional rivals, and usually we're better than they are.
Okay.
But now, we've got Devin Bush, okay?
Talk about it.
Don't sleep on Devin Bush. That guy is fantastic. When Ryan Shazier went down, we've missed him in the middle of our defense so much. So now I got a Michigan guy to counter what Tom's doing.
Wow.
So it's going to be Michigan versus Michigan, one of which went to New England, but we're going to forget about that. So, and opening night, I mean, it's going to be very interesting how the Steelers do up in New York.
You're going to have to get one of those Bush jerseys.
The Devin, sure, the 55.
Of course.
All over it.
I don't believe any Steelers fan that says that they haven't been keeping tabs on Antonio Brown. Like that they don't watch what he's doing and any of the drama that he's creating out there on the West Coast. So I don't believe you if you say that you don't follow it. What are you making of Antonio Brown, this whole saga, and how has it changed how you view him?
Well, even if I didn't want to follow it, you can't help but follow it. He's everywhere with the helmet, with that stuff with Ben now. Ben says he never should have called him out. Antonio's like, we were never friends. Here's the thing about Antonio Brown, I'll say to Raiders fans. Don't judge Antonio Brown until game one of the season. Because the off-the-field antics will drive you nuts. You have no idea he's crazy, this and that. Nobody practices harder, nobody plays harder, and nobody is as good of a wideout as Antonio Brown is. So I think you have to kind of forget about all the personality stuff. He'll have a helmet that works. Don't worry about it. Carr is going, and Gruden are going to be in love with him because you could put three guys in Antonio Brown.
He'll catch it.
Hein.
Get open. That's
incredible. All right, all the things you've got going, all the things you've done. You also put the term "jump the shark" on the map.
Yes.
That you are the guy. The term meaning you go back to Happy Days, and when Fonzarelli was water skiing and literally jumping over a shark in an episode, it became a term for what you say something stops being cool or relevant.
It's the moment you know when something is never going to be as good as it was, and that that jump you're talking about was a 3-part, let's take the cast out to Hollywood episode 2, which is a sign that things probably aren't going to be so good.
All right. I'm a big Potsy guy, but let's we're going to post some things to you. You tell us if they've jumped the shark. Okay. Baker Mayfield's outspoken persona. Does it have the leather jacket and the jean shorts going over the ramp? Has it jumped the shark?
I don't think so. Look, I know with the recent stuff, he keeps talking about, Daniel Jones. I don't think he actually meant to hit Daniel Jones, and he explained himself. I kind of like what Baker Mayfield's doing in Cleveland as much as I dislike the Browns. The Browns have been desperate for a quarterback since like Brian Sipe? I mean, it's been forever. So I like the fact that he's out there, he's doing what he's doing. But the bottom line is you got to back it up on the field. And Baker Mayfield, I think, has the goods to back it up on the field. Plus, I love what he did to Ohio State when he was in college.
Hey, boom! Okay.
Never gonna.
Okay.
Love that.
Okay.
So I would say no, Baker Mayfield's antics have not jumped the shark.
All right. Has this jumped the shark? The overly used term, the GOAT.
That one, I think, I do think the GOAT has jumped the shark. There was an article today that talked about, has the chicken sandwich debate jumped the shark?
Okay.
So, and which is the GOAT chicken sandwich?
Yes.
Like, come on. When I think of the greatest of all time, I think of Muhammad Ali. He's the one who said it. He's it, okay? Is Brady the greatest? Absolutely. You can't argue with what he has done. But that expression, it loses its significance when you talk about, this table, it's the GOAT.
GOAT table.
Come on.
It's the GOAT mug right there.
Right, exactly. This is the GOAT water I've ever had. So I think we've had a little bit too much of it.
Are you wearing a Steelers jersey? Of course, in the 70s, there was a great rivalry with this team. Now we are in 2019. They haven't won a Super Bowl since the mid-90s. The Cowboys being described as America's team on every broadcast, has that jumped the shark?
Well, that's unfair, because I'm going to say it never got up the ramp. Because in the 70s, when they were saying that about the Cowboys, like, wait a minute, there's a team in Pittsburgh that's beaten this team twice in the Super Bowl. What's going on here? And I think America's team, you probably have to give that to the New England Patriots at this point. I mean, they've been so good for so long, so consistent, Belichick, Brady, etc. But I never referred to the Cowboys as America's team. I referred to them as, okay, that team from Dallas.
There you go.
It's been a little while, as you said. It's been a little while since the Steelers have won, too, frankly. But I think if you're America's team, you got to win consistently and always be on the map.
I love it. John Hein, fantastic. I feel like we could do this all day long. You're going to have the Devin Bush jersey on.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining the show. And everyone can watch either you on SNY or listen to Howard Stern and, of course, the wrap-up show every morning on Sirius Satellite Radio.
Than's, guys. Great seeing you. Thanks for hanging with us.
This is awesome. Thanks for coming by.
Did you happen to see another Michigan man running?
Yeah, there's a guy who's a little bit younger than me who he does some stuff for this network, too.
Is that right?
Yeah, Rich Eisen.
Oh, yeah, we know that guy.
Yeah,
That's right.
So you guys are basically kicking out this Michigan guy, but that Michigan guy.
Pretty much.
Which I totally understand.
Trade. We've got Will Selva out in the newsroom in Culver City with more. Yes, Rich Eisen is on the way.
Hit him with the Hein. Yes, I've reached my broadcasting zenith. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well done.
Hein. Great having
Well
you
done.
on the show. Andrew Luck, as we switch topics, not the only big name, 29 years old, to retire this offseason. Rob Gronkowski hanging it up this year after the Patriots won Super Bowl 53. Gronk, like Luck, says injuries and dealing with pain had a lot to do with walking away. The all-pro tight end teaming up with a CBD company and held a press conference on Tuesday. He was emotional when talking about his decision to retire from professional football. Later in the day, he spoke with NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport on his Rap Sheet and Friends podcast and talked about what it would take for him to make a return.
I've had gut feelings, and then I didn't go with them. I went with a different option, and then it never works out. And I swear, it never does. You always want to go with what you're truly feeling, even if it doesn't make sense to someone else. If it makes sense to you, then it makes sense to do that. So, whatever. If I get the gut feeling, that's what I would need. And like my soul would have to be on fire, and I wouldn't just listen to it for one day. It would have to be at like a consistent basis.
The Bucs defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul back at practice Tuesday as he was cleared by doctors to resume rehab activities. This according to our very own Tom Pelissero. But it's still unknown when JPP will be cleared to play in a game. He's recovering from a fractured vertebra suffered in a car crash just 4 months ago. And Falcons star wideout Julio Jones still waiting for a new deal. Team owner Arthur Blank reiterating that he hopes to see this happen too. Blank telling the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that both sides are in serious negotiations and the goal is to get a contract done before the start of the season. Jones aiming to be the top-paid wide receiver in the NFL. Blank saying he wants Julio to be a Falcon for life, and it sounds like both sides are working to make that happen, and it sounds like a deal is imminent. John Hein, hit it with the Hein! Such a thrill. Such a thrill to have you on.
You have not jumped the shark.
Never.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love it.
Say
Thank
it one more
you, John
time, I
Hein.
may change my mind.
Now, two's the limit.
As we speak. Will, we love you. I know you're a Steelers fan, but we've got news about Rob Gronkowski. That door to may not be quite as closed as you might think.
Gronk used to eat you guys up, man.
Oh, tell me about it.
So is Gronk the GOAT tight end?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
I got Tony Gonzalez.
And do the Colts have a franchise quarterback in Jacoby Brissett? Another good question.
Is Jacoby Brissett the GOAT third string to Brady?
Ah!
Or is it Rohan Davey?
Gotta go Rohan Davey.
Scott Solak.
I'm still waiting on Mallet. I'm still waiting.
Oh, man.